Hi ladies, I am here today to talk about, actually compare some sleep sacks that are on the market that you may have heard of or seen, but there's so many out there that, it's hard to choose, which one's going to be best as far as, what your situation is, what you're going through with your baby. And you'll find, if you haven't already, that, when your little one is not sleeping, that you will kind of try anything, which is kind of where I was about I guess 5.5 months ago. My daughter will be 6 months this Saturday. So I was kind of buying every sleep sack there was to kind of, keep, number one, keep her warm, but as well, trying out different swaddle type things, and just trying to get her to sleep, which was probably the ultimate goal when you have a newborn. So I'm just going to jump right in and kind of start comparing the ones that I personally have tried, and kind of give you my opinion on each one. So I'm going to start with the one that I started out with, which was recommended to me by my cousin, who has had 4 little ones over the last, I guess her oldest is 10, but she has a 3, 4, and 5-year-old. So she was kind of dealing with little ones for a lot. So I took her advice and got the Halo sleep sack. So again, this is a very popular brand out there right now. Great product for sure. Let's see, I'm trying to get this oriented correctly. Here we go. Okay, so it comes, there's the swaddle kind, which has little arms that, wrap around for you to swaddle their arms. And then they also have ones that are just literally the sleep sack where you put their arms through and they can, flail about if they want to. But this one is the swaddle version. So this has the little arms that go in there, and then it has the wings, as I was just describing, which are stuck together. Here we go. The wings that come out like that. So again, you would put their arms through this one, which is nice. It has this like silky spot, which makes it easier to kind of tuck under them. So you would tuck this side, and then these Velcro on this side would then just attach, however tight you need it to go on the other side. So this one worked great. The one great thing about this one is that it zips down. So the zipper starts up here and goes down. So if you just need to change them, you're trying to keep them asleep, or if you want to feed them while swaddled, you could just change their diaper, zip it up, open it up, change them real quick, and then zip it back down without disturbing them too much. When I was using this, I was kind of going on the recommendation of the hospital to do skin to skin when feeding. So I took her out of this completely and whatnot. But I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest, because it gets them, I don't want to say awake, because my daughter was a decent sleeper. So it was kind of hard to wake her up to eat, especially during the day. But so that's that one. Worked fine. My daughter wasn't great at being swaddled, but I did order another version of the Swaddle sleep sack from a different brand called Ziggy Baby. And I bought these because I only had that one Halo sleep sack, and they run between like $20 and $30 each, I think. I'll put a link below so you can check it out for yourself. But so I wanted to get more because, if they, have a blowout or what have you, or while you're changing them, they pee and it gets on it. Very common occurrences, especially in the beginning. So I was then, having to wash it, and you just want to have some extras so that if that does happen, you don't have to run and do laundry and whatnot. So especially if it happens in the middle of the night, you're definitely not going to do laundry. So I bought these Ziggy Baby sleep sacks, and they came, I believe, in a pack of 3 for around like $25 or something like that. Again, I'll put a link below. But these are a little bit different. So they come like so. Try to see if I can. Okay, so it has a little like pouch, I guess, at the bottom, which is where you stick their feet. Their feet go in there. And then this, which I thought was nice, every single Velcro section has a little section that folds over it that covers up that Velcro. So number one, it's great because when you're washing it, it doesn't stick to everything and then potentially ruin some clothes or socks. Baby socks definitely like to stick to these things, and then you have like these little flaily edges and whatnot. So good for that, as well as when you're getting them swaddled and whatnot, if you have an exposed Velcro, it can then sometimes stick before you're ready it to stick. So I kind of just found that kind of nifty. But anyway, so this would lay on their chest or their belly, depending on, you know, length of your child's. And then you would take the arm here, and you would lay that across. Now, what is great about these is it has a little section that is designed to stick to that middle section. So for me, I don't know, with them rolling about, and I guess they're not rolling at that stage, but you know, when they're just moving and all that stuff, it can get a little difficult to get it tight to where their arms stay down. So I found this, you know, Velcro in the middle section to be super useful because it helps you get it pretty tight. So you can like tighten that, stick it down, and then fold this underneath them. So then you fold that part underneath, and then you've got these little tabs, 2 Velcro tabs. Again, they fold down if you're not ready to use them yet. And then cross them over, and then on the other side somewhere, there we go, right there is kind of where you would attach it. So kind of a rough display of how that works. But so this one, I just liked those Velcro things that I showed just now. I just find it helpful getting it really tight and keeping their arms down. But also, you know, you get 3 of them for your money. They are a little bit more thin than the Halo sleep sack, so they're not going to be one of those that are like for, you know, deep winter if it gets super cold in your house or something like that. You'd want to dress them in a little bit more layers if you're going to use this on top. What else? The other obvious thing is that you're not going to be able to just, you know, unzip or anything at the bottom to change them because it doesn't have that feature. You're going to have to unswaddle them and take them out of this little pouch part that their feet go in. So a few quote-unquote downsides, but it's again going to depend on your preference and you know, what works for you and your baby. So those are kind of the 2 swaddle versions that I tried. Like I mentioned a little earlier, my daughter was not great at being swaddled. She liked to have her hands near her face. She's pretty much been like that since she was a little one in my belly. Every sonogram picture we have, her hands are up here, either covering her face or near her face. So pretty much every single one. So she's been like that from the beginning. So we kind of found that having her swaddled was a little more counterproductive for her sleeping. So another thing that I tried, again, one of the things my cousin recommended was a sleep pod. So they don't swaddle necessarily, but their arms are in it to kind of give you, like, to keep their arms a little bit down, but they can still move them a little bit, but to also help with that startle reflex that they have. So these are literally, it's literally what it sounds like a pod, kind of like a pea pod. You kind of just put their little feet in there, and then zip up their arms inside. Like I said, that kind of allows them to be able to move them a little bit if they want, but helps with that startle reflex. This is a newborn size, which when I look at it now makes me like want to cry that my daughter used to fit into this. But the one thing, this is by Swaddle Me, by the way, is the brand. The one thing that I'll say about this is that, again, when you're dealing with a squirmy little newborn, getting her arms to stay in here while you're trying to zip it is a little difficult because they're meant to be a little bit snug, so it's gonna like take, I don't want to say force to zip it up, but it's gonna take a little, you know, effort to kind of keep them in there and zip it up. So it was a little frustrating for me to kind of get her arms in there, but again, this is kind of designed that way, so you know. I also used this a couple times when I was swaddling her to eat, because in the very beginning, first couple months, my daughter had flaily arms when she was trying to eat, so it was very difficult to get her to latch on and latch on properly when I was also having to try and, you know, confine her arms and, you know, squeeze the boob and all that stuff to get her to latch properly. So I was trying this out to kind of see if that would alleviate the flaily arm problem, as well as, you know, trying to keep her swaddled but not at the same time. This one again is a thinner material, so again it's not designed for, you know, super warmth, but it does have a feature. It has the zipper. You just kind of saw me zip it up, but it also has one at the bottom, so you can take their little legs out, change them and whatnot without getting them completely exposed or letting their arms out. So this one again is kind of an in-betweener on the SleepSack swaddle versus having their arms free. One thing I did try this one is because there's a brand out there called Zippity Zip or Zippity something. I think it's Zippity Zip. That, you know, has the little triangle corners for them to, it's again an in-between on a swaddle versus having their arms free. It's kind of a transition one, but they don't have anything size-wise, at least when I was looking, below 3 months, because that's when you're supposed to transition to something like that, or that's when, you know, most babies are transitioning into something like that. So this was kind of the alternative because they have newborn sizes. So kind of just food for thought there. So that I wasn't too much of a fan of that, just me personally, of the pod, just because it was annoying to me to try and zip it up in the middle of the night. So I just ended up using just a regular old SleepSack with, you know, little arms. This is a fleece one, so I really liked it because I live in a very cold environment, and so I would put her in like just a onesie, long sleeve onesie, put her in this as well, so she had kind of a double layer going there. Zip her up, like it's a sack, zip her up, and we were good. So that's another one that I would recommend, especially if you're beyond the swaddle stage, or even if your daughter or son is like my daughter and doesn't like to be swaddled. You can always just go to, you know, a regular old SleepSack. My daughter, by 2 months, I think it was, she was sleeping 6 to 8 hours. So, you know, it wasn't a huge ordeal for her to have a little bit of the startle. She would go back to sleep usually, even if she did do that, or wouldn't wake up. So that's another one. I really like these because they're the fleece material, so it's going to keep her a little bit warm. Our bedroom is upstairs, so again, it was colder up there, even though heat is supposed to rise. It didn't really seem to be the case for our bedroom. So it was a little bit colder up there, so we even had a space heater in there to try to keep it 72 degrees up there. So, anywho, So that's that one. So as my daughter approached the 4 months, and was going to be going into that 4-month sleep regression, I was beginning to read everything that I could on the 4-month sleep regression because I was trying to do anything that I could to make that easier, better, whatever. So I actually looked into they're called the Zen SleepSacks, the nested bean SleepSacks, and I love them. So they look like so. They also have a swaddle option, but again, my daughter was around 3 months when I was looking at these. So I just got, and again, she didn't like to be swaddled. So I just got the ones where the arms go through, they kind of hang out, and then you've got the SleepSack. These are great, and even though I haven't tried the swaddle version, I would highly recommend that you try it, because these are designed to mimic touch. So they're designed to mimic, being held and things like that. So the regular SleepSacks, the one that I have, this one is a small, I believe, which goes up to 18 pounds. My daughter's about to outgrow. So this one has just the little, they're little beans in here. They're like little tiny beads that are, designed to kind of have like a weighted feel to mimic, somebody, holding them or touching them, just for that comfort feel for them. So this one is designed to either lay on their chest, or once your little one has started rolling over, like my daughter at 3 months started rolling to her belly, and around 4 months started sleeping that way. So I then had this to where it was on her back, and I would still start her on her back when she would go to sleep, but literally within seconds she would roll over on her own and sleep on her stomach. So it does have that option where you can put this on their chest or their back, and have that be their little comfort. So I never, or I guess we never, my daughter never really went through a quote-unquote sleep regression at that 4 months. Like I said, we started this around 3 months, and I can't say that it's like 100% yes, it was this, because my daughter was a decent sleeper to begin with. Like I said, she was sleeping around like 8 hours at 2 months, and then it progressively got to now 12 hours, and she's about 6 months. So I can't say 100% this was the reason, but I can't say that it wasn't. So I would even still recommend it, because she would get to the point where she would even wake up in the middle of the night. I'd hear her making noises. She wouldn't cry, but she'd go back to sleep. So I can't help but think that this was the reason for that, because she had that feel of somebody there with her, comforting her, that sort of thing. So I definitely recommend these. This is just the classic, which is just, I wouldn't say a thin material, but it's thinner than that Halo sleep sack that I showed. But again, I have her in a onesie underneath this anyway, so it's still doing its purpose as being a blanket on top. What else? Just real quick features about this. So it's got, you just place it on their chest. Actually, the best way to do it is to place them on their back on this, and then just flip the chest piece over, and then you've got these little snaps, and snap it into place. So it's got two different, like as they grow, so you would go with the one on the bottom first, and then as they grow you've got a little bit more room there. And then once you have both sides snapped, the zipper here, you just zip that all the way up, blah, 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 blah. And then it also has another zipper on this side, again, that you could unzip for diaper changes. So you can just unzip, do the diaper change, and zip them back up without taking the entire thing off. Again, I never used the Sleep Swaddle version of this, but again, I would highly recommend, because that one is actually, it actually has not only weighted pieces on the chest, but as well as on the side. So it's designed to, again, kind of mimic that they're being held like they're used to around that age. So I love it, and it's freaking adorable. Like this one I have has little puffins on it, which are just so cute. I love it. And then I got a 2-pack with this one. So it came with just a gray one, and then this little puffin one. But they have, this one is a little bit more gender neutral. It's orange on the little egg that they've got here. But they have ones that are designed for boys with boy patterns, girls with pink and things like that. So a lot of different options there. But out of all the SleepSacks, I definitely recommend the Nested Bean Zen SleepSack over all of them. But again, it's gonna depend on your preference, what you like, what works. I'm sure not everything is going to work for every baby. But I would definitely recommend this one over all of them, because it's just worked so well for us. Like I said, my daughter's about to outgrow these, and I am definitely looking into the next size up, because I am just terrified that if I don't use it, that she's not going to sleep as well, which again, I don't know if that's the case or not, but I don't want to find out. So I am definitely going to order the next size up for her. And yeah, so I will leave links to every single SleepSack that I mentioned, so that you can check those out, see if, there's something that you would like to test out for your little one. Don't forget to subscribe below for more videos, more comparisons. I try to talk about products that I've actually used, so that you have actual user's opinion on different products. So yeah, subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And I also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Every single one of those is at New Mama Saga. So check us out, follow us, like us, all that jazz. And yeah, so I look forward to doing more of these for you guys, and I will see you next time.